Confidence in the economy is inching up, and if that keeps up, it could be a game changer in the race for president. A new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll shows 30% of people now think the economy is on the right track. May not seem like a lot, but that's up 8 points in a month. Also on the way up, approval of the way the president is handling the economy. That's up 6 points. And the long-term outlook is getting more positive as well. 37% think that in the next year, things are going to get better. That's up 7 points in just 1 month. And, of course, we get these numbers as the president continues a 3-day trip to 5 swing states, talking about his plan to turn the economy around. Charles Blow is a columnist for the New York Times. Joe Cunnison, the editor-in-chief of nationalmemo.com. Gentlemen, it's good to see you.
Good to be here.
I mean, alone, Charles, these numbers don't look remarkable, but the jumps are big. In polling numbers, we were so shocked we actually released these poll numbers early. What do you think's going on here?
Well, first, the movement is in the right direction for the president, right? So it's not necessarily about how much it's changing. It's that they're changing in that direction for the first time in a very, very long time, that it's moving in the right direction. The second part, though, is that you cannot underestimate how much, that elections are a zero-sum game, a choice between candidates. So
Did your phone just bark?
My phone just barked. I'm sorry. Ever heard that? Okay.
I didn't know if people out there heard that.
Why did you say anything? Anyway, all right. So, but it's a zero-sum game between candidates, and so the worse the Republican field starts to look, the better Barack Obama looks. The more they go at each other's throats, the more they look out of touch, the more you point out Mitt Romney is a man who does not work but makes $20 million a year and $60,000 a day. The more they look out of touch with America, and the more Barack Obama can hammer home this idea that he is the person who is advocating for the middle class, he is the person who is opposed to income inequality in this country, that leaches out into the rest of the numbers that you see.
Yeah, I mean, there have been some good economic numbers. There have been some indicators that the economy is doing a little bit better, Joe. But do you think that what's going on the Republican side plays into that? Because we certainly hear a lot that the White House is sitting back and saying, have at it, boys. Go at each other. Eat each other alive.
Right. I think what's happened is that the State of the Union made a big difference. I thought it was a very good speech, especially the part about the economy, which is the part I think most people stayed there and watched. I think finally the president is making the case that they ought to have been making for a while about how he saved auto, for instance. The fact that they rescued the auto industry and that GM is now selling more cars than anybody else in the world again has to reach middle America in that way. That is a
one
major
of the criticisms of the president, that he hasn't sort of tooted his own horn, that they haven't messaged the good stuff.
A lot of the news has been about what the Republicans say about him every day. Now, he had something to say, and I think that combined with good economic news is going to bring him back.
All right, let me talk about what the Republicans are saying out on the campaign trail. For example, this was Mitt Romney.
If you really think that things are going well in this country, that we're on the right track, and that his policies are working, you ought to vote for him.
How many of you agree that America is largely on the wrong track?
Well, you got to wonder if, again, as these polls continue to inch up, as people start to feel better, consumer confidence starts to go up, if they're going to have to tweak that message a little bit, Charles.
Well, I mean, here's the problem. You have the unemployment numbers going in the right direction for Barack Obama. You keep seeing it inch down just a little bit. You're getting close to the numbers that Barack Obama said that he was going to get. If you get close to an 8% unemployment rate.
Do you really? I mean, we talk a lot about that, but I wonder if the average American out there is really waiting to see, are we going to be at 8.3%? But I don't think
no, I don't think it's that people are watching the numbers so much. I think it is you recognize that there's a person in your family who's been out of work for 2 years or 6 months or something, or your unemployment is about to run out, and you see that there may be a possibility. There's a job opening up down the street at the coffee shop or at wherever, and you may be able to get that job. That real change is reflected in that number when it starts.
But conversely, if it starts to inch up even by 1/10 of a point and the perception is out there, Joe, does it work in the inverse?
We're not out of the woods yet. I mean, things that are happening in Europe and elsewhere around the world could throw all of this into the bin before the election, and the president could still be in a lot of trouble. The problem is that unemployment is still going to be relatively high by Election Day, and at that point, there is going to have to be the comparison made with what is the alternative and what has been accomplished and what would have happened had one of these people been in charge. And, I think that's where voters are going to have to make their choice.